Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Through the Fire. I am your host, Ryan Wickline, and today we are joined by a very special guest. She is known as Ms. World Traveler, Miss Kerry Damiano. How you doing today, Kerry?
Doing great. We're getting close to Christmas and I'm feeling very festive.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel with it being living in Phoenix with all the heat going on?
Well, we're having record-breaking heat today. It's supposed to be 81, but as of Christmas Day, the rain comes and then it'll be winter like every place else. Not super cold. I mean, not like below zero, but cold and wet for us. So it's all relative.
Yeah, could definitely take some of that heat my way.
I'll bet. What's it like in Ohio right now?
About 30s right now, and there's snow on the ground. Melting. It's melting though.
Well, I'm sorry.
I know. I'm ready to get out of here and get away from the heat or get away from the cold.
Exactly. It's during the winter, we get to laugh at everybody else. And during the summer, everybody gets to laugh at us. So, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Awesome. So the number one question the audience is probably wondering, who is Kerry Damiano?
Well, as you said, Ms. World Traveler, that's kind of a little persona. I have a little banner that says Ms. World Traveler. And a lot of people ask me, why do you wear the banner? And it's because it's an homage to the 40 plus years I've spent in the pageant industry. So while this is not a pageant title that I won, I've been around pageantry for so many years that it just sort of fit. And I've been to over 140 countries. So I feel like I earned the title, even though it's self-proclaimed. But it's just kind of a fun shtick, and people enjoy it when they see me out and we're filming, and people love to come up and ask questions and talk, who is Ms. World Traveler? And I say, Kerry Damiano. They say, who is Kerry Damiano? Ms. World Traveler.
Simple and sweet, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a big circle.
Is it true that you've never been married?
Yes. Why is that so hard to believe, Ryan?
I don't know. I just found it kind of fascinating that you've never been married, no kids, no nothing.
No, and it's not that I, never thought about it, and certainly had that plan. When I was 18, I had this plan that I was going to be married at 24 and done having kids by 30. And 24 came and went, and 30 came and went, and so on and so on. And, it just never happened for me. But it didn't stop me from living an adventurous life, from doing all the things that I wanted to do. So, it was what happened for me. It was my journey.
Yeah, I like it. How did you get the nickname Ms. World Traveler?
As I mentioned, it's kind of self-proclaimed, but it's one of those things that for 20 years, I knew something was coming, something big, and it was kind of just out of my reach. I didn't know what it was. And, as I think about it and I think, okay, God, is this the big thing? No, it's not it. Something else is coming. And it just went like that. Tried lots of different things, had my own fashion line, had a television show for a while, just had a number of different things that I tried. And when finally in 2022, in my 60s, I sort of like got the whole picture. Scales lifted off my eyes and I could see what Ms. World Traveler was supposed to be. And it's just like, that's me. That's who I am. It's a sum total of all the experiences I've had in my life and all of the things that I'm passionate about.
Nice. What inspired you to start the web series and the podcasts and all the blogs?
Yes. Well, that was what I was saying. I just had this vision of what Ms. World Traveler is supposed to be. And basically, our mission is to inspire women to travel, even if they have to do it alone, and to then shop local. So we support women entrepreneurs, artists, designers. We try and feature them. The idea being that if you go somewhere new, you'll feel like you know somebody. So you've, made a friend. So we're very organic in how we, show travel. We don't do anything with restaurants. We don't anything with hotels. There's lots and lots of that out there. We just try to, follow our experiences, have a good time, and hopefully that is inspiring to other people.
So do you showcase all the places you go and on all your trips?
Yes. Obviously we target places to go and then, try and get a number of different things, show different sides of a place to visit. Sometimes I get a little longer. So for example, I was just in New York in the whole month of October. So we're able to delve deep and really come up with maybe things that people might have heard about, but not necessarily have experienced. So we're trying to do, some different things, not do the same thing as what everybody else is doing, you know, just we do it in our own way, in a stylish, fashionable way.
Nice. You've traveled to 130 plus countries in all 50 states. How is this
Yeah.
possible?
Because I didn't do it all at one time. I started 40 plus years ago. Actually, my mom took me on my very first international trip, which was in 1984, kind of a college graduation present. And I was hooked. Loved it. It was one of those tours, you ride on the bus for 17 days and visit 10 countries, but it fed my sense of adventure. So I'm not an extreme sport person, but I do like adventure. Trying to, figure things out, go somewhere new, trying to communicate, figure out what to eat, some of those things, that was an adventure for me and it hooked me on travel. And so I started, mostly for the first 10 years, I traveled with my mom. After that, I wanted to do it by myself. So for 30 plus years, I've been solo traveling.
Where was the first place you guys went then?
It was a European trip, flew into London and, did the Paris and, it was all the biggies, Rome, Italy, Spain, you know, a loop like that. What you can do on a bus, which is, Europe you can do on a bus. It's harder to do it in the United States because everything's so spread out. But there, with everything close together, you can do a lot in a short amount.
Yeah. What would you say is probably your favorite country and your favorite state you've traveled to?
Hmm. Well, London is probably my favorite place because I lived there for a little over a year and just spent a lot of time with the culture. Came back with a British accent. I wish I still had it. I don't. Really enjoyed that. Ended up going to graduate school there. And so met a lot of people my age and, just soaked up being somewhere that was foreign and yet wasn't so foreign that I couldn't live there. My favorite state. That's a good question. Different favorites, I think, for different reasons. Let's see. I'm originally from Idaho, so I love going back there because there's that sense of home, a sense of nostalgia. Even though I live in Arizona now, that's just a really fun place for me to go.
Nice. What would you say? What would you recommend for people to do if they were in London?
Oh, well, it's interesting that you phrased the question that way because sometimes the question is phrased, where's the first place you would send somebody? And I would say to London. And the reason for that is it's very foreign in that they drive on the other side of the road, they speak different, some of their words mean something different, but yet you can still read the signs, you can still get around, you can still communicate with people. So it's a great way to sort of get your first taste internationally without having it something that's just, you can't make your way around. For example, I've been to China and I can't read the signs, can't read the figures. So it's much harder to get around when you can't read. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So London is a great place to, get your feet wet, get your toe in the water for your first time.
Yeah.
You ever
Where
been
would
there?
you? No, never been.
Oh, okay.
Where would you say would be the number one place to go visit there?
Ooh. Um, hmm. I lived there like a local, so didn't have a lot of touristy things that I did. But I think the Tower of London, that's just like a basic, kind of like the Eiffel Tower in Paris. You must check it off your list, the Tower of London. They have the crown jewels there. It's just the picture of what London is.
Yeah. What are your future travel plans then?
Well, I have a month in Australia, in Sydney, coming up, the whole month of March. So that will be quite exciting. And I actually just got back from 2 weeks in Africa, where I did a loop of the southern countries, started in Cape Town, went to Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Mozambique, Swaziland, back to Johannesburg and Lesotho. So all that in 2 weeks. So I was on a whirlwind.
How long do your vacations usually last then?
Mhm. Well, now I have to take exception with the word vacation because they are working. I have found a way to, as Ms. World Traveler, work when I take these trips. I'm gathering content, I'm writing scripts, I'm getting photos and editing and, that kind of thing. So yeah, work, right? But I've lost, what was the question again? I got up on vacation.
How long are your trips? Do your trips usually last?
Yeah, great. Good question. Many different, I have all different ways of doing things. As I said, sometimes I can go for a month. That's, once a year, maybe twice a year. Most of the time it's 4 or 5 days. And I shop a whole city, write a script, get a story together. We film in one day and then we leave. But sometimes not there as Ms. World Traveler. So for example, I will be judging a pageant in Orlando starting 1st of January. So I'll get content while I'm there and we will use that content. But they tell me how long I'm supposed to be there. So it kind of depends on what I'm going, where I'm traveling to, and what I'm going for.
Nice. Most single people don't like traveling alone. What advice do you have for them?
Go for it. Do it. And if you're nervous about it, if you think you're lonely or I won't have anyone to share it with, I really think that you can be around people as much as you want to. I mean, this just from when you go out, you can choose to talk to people. If you sit on a plane, you can strike up a conversation with the person next to you, or you can watch a movie and speak to no one, so you can be around people as much as you want to. So if that's what keeps you from going, you control that. If you think you can't afford it, there's lots of ways to save and just look into, different things. I watch flights. I try and look for, like if I'm taking a cruise, I look for ones that are offered with no single supplement or supplement on sale, some of those kind of things. So you can get around the objections that people have for going by themselves if you just put your mind to it.
Nice. Do you run across a lot of people that travel alone?
A lot. Yes. A lot of people. Or in couples, or I mean, just, small groups, meaning they're not with a group. And a lot of times they're using private guides, which I use a lot of private guides. So for example, in Africa, I had a guide meeting me everywhere that I went. It wasn't really a place that I wanted to travel alone. There's some places that it's great. There's other places that even though I'm by myself, I want to have a guide with me. It's just for safety and see as much as I can in a very short period of time. So yeah, I mean, I love traveling alone, and I think once you try it, you might never go back. Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been somewhere with someone and they say, "Where do you want to go to dinner?" You go, "I don't know. Where do you want to go to dinner?" "I don't know." And then you got this back and forth thing going.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have that when you travel by yourself.
Nope. You get to pick wherever, choose wherever you go.
Right.
You talk about dating yourself. What does that mean?
Oh, oh. Hmm. Well, I don't really think of it like that. It's more that I do what I want to do and I don't have to worry about what anyone else is thinking. So treat myself to a special dinner or a special event or something. I go to the theater alone. I went to Broadway when I was in New York. I went to Broadway alone. Um, Eat out alone. If I don't eat out a lot, but the point is I don't stop doing fun things that people typically do with someone else just because I'm by myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I like it. I mean, you should be able to treat yourself to a good time.
Exactly. Just go and do it. It's you're only alone if you feel like you're alone. And what I mean by that, do you remember the old Lonely Guy movie with Steve Martin? Maybe it's before your time, but it was a very funny movie. And the lonely guy, he walks into a restaurant and there's a spotlight on him, highlighting the fact that he's in the restaurant by himself. And if you feel like that, if you feel like when you go somewhere, everyone's looking at me and they're asking, what's the matter with that person? They're by themselves. It's different than if you just walk in like I own the place. I'm here because I want to be, and I'm treating myself. So there's a different attitude that goes with it.
I like it. You coach beauty pageant contestants. What led you to start coaching?
Well, because I've been in the pageant industry for so many years, after I quit competing for the next 15, 20 years, I did a lot of judging. I do even more judging now. But since I had done so much, girls started asking me, well, can you help me? It just kind of started with one or two or three and built from there. And now it's something I really enjoy because it's sewing back into the lives of young women, getting to, be a mentor, give some of the benefit of my experience, all these white hairs, I earned them, right? With experiences. So being able to give back, that's something that's really rewarding for me.
Do you like judging or coaching better?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I like them both equally for different reasons. There's something much more bonding about coaching because we work together over a period of time and really get to know the girls. We become lifelong friends. So something really wonderful. I never had children, so they become like my daughters, and I love that. But judging, there's something really nice about that too, knowing that my work is going to change the trajectory of somebody's life. That's very exciting. And then exciting to watch the young woman that we pick, what she does, how she uses her voice, how she becomes the woman she was intended to be. That to me, I find that very exciting.
Yeah.
Are you into pageantry at all?
No, but
No.
I know people who are, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it because I work with athletes, so I look at it the same way. It's prepping for
Yes.
a lot of mindset and a lot of preparation goes into
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely. It's competition, just like a sporting
Yeah,
event is a competition. Yes. And people train for it just like they do in
yeah.
sports. Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge that contestants face as they're preparing?
Mm. Well, each one is a little bit different. Some they're overcoming fear. Their fear of public speaking, fear of getting out on stage. There's a lot of fears that everyone has fears. It's identifying what they are and then figuring out how to overcome them. But pageantry, different things call people. Sometimes it's they want to use their voice. Sometimes it's they want to have opportunities to advance their career. Sometimes it's just improving their confidence, improving their skills, that kind of thing. So for each woman, her challenge is different.
Nice. How competitive are these pageants?
Oh, very. No matter what level, even if they're little girls or older women. I like last year, a year ago, I judged senior pageant, and we had women in their 70s. I've judged as old as a woman in her 90s, and so uh, their goal is very different. They're there to have fun, just meet people, that sort of thing. So it's very different judging from different age groups, but no matter what age they are, they're there to be their best. And that means going for the title.
I can just imagine some of the kids' pageants because I've been around youth sports, so I know how crazy some parents can get.
Yes. And sometimes it's the parents, not the kids.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure you have lots of stories.
Yes. So I imagine you do too along those lines
Yeah,
when it comes to youth.
exactly. Exactly. I better not go into them now, or we'll get started
Yeah.
on stories, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
What's the number one trait or skill you have developed from competing and coaching these pageants?
confidence. People say that to me a lot. They say, you just walk with confidence, you just speak with confidence. I said, it's my pageant background. because you have to. As soon as you start slumping your shoulders and I don't know, then you don't sound confident. Walk into a room like you own it. Speak with confidence. The sky is purple. Did you believe me when I said it? I said it with confidence. Whether you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to me, that is what I truly gained from it, along with a lot of other things. But number one, confidence.
Yeah. How important is the body language to portray confidence?
I think it has a lot to do with it because the first 7 seconds people meet you, they're making they have an impression, and if their impression is, she doesn't know what she's doing, and this is for a job interview. This is for anything you do in life. You walk in to talk to a group of kids, and you walk in like this. How are you going to expect them to listen to you, right? You walk in like, I'm here, I have something to say, and people are going to go, yeah, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Right?
That's one thing I talk to a lot of the kids about in sports is the body language. That your body language has to be on point, and your mindset's going to come, and confidence will come from your body language.
All hooked together, isn't it?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
like how you touched on that.
They work in conjunction with each other. You can't, be confident and be like this, all sunken in, right? It's because it's not confident body language. So your mind and your body aren't working in conjunction with each other.
Yeah. How would you judge somebody, a pageant contestant, if they walked in with poor body language?
That they're not quite ready. They're not ready to hold the title yet, because keep in mind, it is a job interview. If you get the title, you're going to work for the next year on, whatever it is, whether it's your causes or the pageant. A lot of times the pageant themselves have causes. They're hiring you to work. They give you a crown and banner, and now you are out there as their ambassador to recruit, to fundraise. There's a lot of things that you will be doing as a job. So we're looking for the girl who's ready to do that. And when she isn't confident, she needs another year or two of seasoning.
Yeah. You started your business, you said at 60?
In my 60s, yes.
What advice would you give to somebody who said it was too late for them to start their business?
Right. Well, I say my tagline at the end of the show, it's never too late to go somewhere new and try something different. And I feel really passionate about that. Though at America Fest, they were talking about some of the, I heard on the news, they did a recap, and a young person had said, don't let anyone tell you that you're too young to make a difference. And I'm like, that's good, but don't let anyone tell you you're too old to make a difference. Because, we all have things that we put up as barriers. And maybe it's, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I'm too this, I'm too that, all of those kind of things. And a lot of it is, it's too late. And I don't believe that. I believe at any point in time, if you're passionate about something, go for your dreams. You can do it. Start taking steps right now.
I completely agree with that. I think a lot of people hide behind those limiting beliefs and fear, and make their decisions dictated by what other people say.
Right. Well, you see it in sports all the time, right? Do you remember that movie Rudy?
Yeah.
The little guy who, wanted to play football? Well, somebody told him he was too small. He didn't believe it. He went for it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Did I have the story right?
Yeah. Yep. You got it right.
I might have got my sports metaphors mixed up.
You nailed it. What are your short-term and long-term goals?
Ooh, I don't set a lot of goals because I'm focused on doing what I feel like the path set in front of me. So, for example, we don't have a lot of followers. I like to tease that we are the critically acclaimed movie that is obscure and nobody has seen. So, like this past year, we won oh, 8, 9, 10 international awards for our YouTube series, but we still don't have a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers. So I don't set a goal of getting more numbers. I set a goal of being the absolute best that we can be. And I feel like if you do that, the rest will come. Success will come. People will come. They'll want to be part of it if I'm doing the absolute best that I can. So really that's the only kind of goal that I like to set.
I love it. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can certainly follow along on our YouTube series, which is on Ms. World, our Ms. World Traveler channel on YouTube. And then we have Instagram, Kerry, 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 Ms. World Traveler, and that's MS, Ms. World Traveler. And we're on Facebook as well, Kerry, Ms. World Traveler. So lots of ways to find us.
Nice. Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
Well, how long do you have? I think I want to go back to it's never too late to live your passion, to follow your dreams. I don't know if you've been a podcaster for years and years, but at some point it was a dream for you, right? It was something you thought, that's something I'd like to do. I'd like to try. And you have to take that step. Is it?
No, it kind of got thrown in my lap and I just kind of ran with it.
Love that. For a lot of people, there is something sitting out there. And, it's just find a way, start thinking about it, start making a plan, do it. What do you have to do? Is it saving some money? Is it finding the time? Is it quitting your job to take a leap of faith? Whatever it is, it's okay to get started now.
Love it. All right. Final question. What is one piece of advice you'd like to leave our listeners with about overcoming adversity?
That's the question that you gave me in advance. And that's the one I don't have an answer for. Really then, I think, believe in yourself and be yourself. Don't try to be what people want you to be. Don't try to be, and we talk a lot about this in pageantry, that if you try to think, well, the judges will like this, or, someone says I should change my hair color to that, or, whatever it is, just focus on being your best you. And when adversity comes, it comes. But if you're not trying to be something that you're not, it seems to me that it's easier to face it head on when you're just being your best self.
Nice. Well, Kerry, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and sharing your insight and some stories with us.
Thank you, Ryan. Pleasure to meet you and be on your show.
It was my pleasure to have you. Well, guys, that's going to be all the time we have here today. Remember, the only way to get what you want is to go through the fire.